Hello, welcome to Golden Vein Coding, where we throw code to the wall to see what sticks. And today I'm here to show you a project of mine that I've called Chattring Beavers. Now, before we get into everything, I should put a disclaimer, because what I'm showing you could potentially, if used wrong, could be used for cybercrime. So, through again this small disclaimer, this video is made purely for fun. I do not condone what I've shared today for cybercrime. So that being said, let's get on to what we will be discussing today. So today we'll be discussing a few components of a Linux operating system, as well as some configuration files for an Apache web server, followed by a demo of the project, which will include changing the look of an Apache web server using the Chattr command. And of course, we will give a few tips on how to protect yourself against this type of attack. So before we get into this, let's first talk about Chattr. So Chattr is a Linux command that allows you to change the attributes of a file, such as read, write, or execute. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the attributes of a file, I will give a short explanation of what read and write is, as well as execute. But just know that using Chattr, we can change these attributes right from that command. And if we use the -i option, we can make a file immutable, which means it's unable to make any changes to it. And normally you would want to make changes to, let's say, a configuration file for a certain server. In this case, it'll be Apache that we'll be looking at, and I'll show you what they look like and how to read, write, and execute a file. But the next thing that this attack includes is using another command called sed, or stream editor. And what you can do with sed is be able to edit multiple text files as part of a script instead of going to each one individually. And if I use its -i option, I can replace a group of text with another in a certain file, which I'll give a better explanation when we get into the demo, but just kind of keep that in the back of your minds. Now, drifting away from Linux commands a little, there is a file on most Linux OSs called bash history. Now, anytime you log in as a certain user and run any sort of command, it will be logged in that user's bash history file. And what I had done to try to cover my tracks is simply clear that file, just so no one, in theory, could see the damage I have caused. Now that we have a little bit of a background on what this exploit will do, I just want to direct your attention to two configuration files that are local to Apache, at least on my Raspberry Pi that I installed it on. So we'll be looking at the 00-default.config under the sites available directory under Apache, as well as the Apache 2 config under the same directory. So let's get into the demo here. So I am already SSH'd into my Apache web server here. So let us look at Apache 2 config. So right here, this is one of the files that we are looking at, and this will be where we're going to be messing with the settings here, this section right over here. But just give an example of what a file attribute is. So if I wanted to say list the files under Apache 2, I would need the read permission for my user. And now I'm signed in under Pi, the Raspberry Pi with sudo permission, so I should be able to see everything under the Apache 2 directory. So this is all the files I can see. So I know that I have read because I can see everything under here. And moving on to the next attribute, if I wanted to write to a file, I would just have to see if I can. Let's just try open up that config file and then using the nano editor. So let me just make a quick edit here, test edit, quickly save that. So I made an edit. Let's see if it's saved. Yes. Okay, now that's commented out. It's not going to affect the Apache server, but just give an example of what the write permission is and the read permission, as I mentioned earlier, because what we're going to be doing with Chattr is essentially make it unable for anyone to write to this, no matter what they do. So now that we have understanding of that, let's get into the actual exploit itself. So opening up Notepad here, we have the script itself. So the first thing we're going to do is redirect the document root to the directory hosting the fake HTML file. So before I get into that, here is what the website looks normally, and that is going to be under this directory right here, var/www/html. So let's just mosey on over there. So you'll see this index.html here. Do a quick sudo cat on that file. You'll see the following HTML code, this website totally, and then an image titled rockpile.jpg. So if we were to go back to the website itself, that's where it's being hosted by default here. And what this exploit will do is that it will change the config files to go from var www.html to some random directory I just stumbled upon that, I don't know, just stumbled upon it, and it's like, okay, that'll work, I guess. So let's go in there. So just see what's in here. So you see index.html and a screw.jpg. So if I just simply open up that file right here under this directory, you'll see this different HTML file saying, oh no, you got hit by a chattering beaver. You are, and then you'll see a picture of a screw here. So that's going to be what you'll see right here on this website once we run this script right over here. So back to the script. So the first part we're going to do is make a change by replacing the default directory that's going to host the fake HTML file in the default config under Apache. And then we have to then allow Apache to run the fake HTML file by making these changes right here, where it'll find this group of text and replace it with this group right here all throughout the file, so that it's completely out in the open and it'll actually run the fake HTML. So once that's all done, we'll restart the server down below here to actually see those changes take place. Now, at this current time, I could easily undo that, or anyone could easily undo that by simply opening up these files and just undoing the changes. But what I'm going to do next here is look at the Chattr command by first moving the Chattr binary here to be under this new command called Beaver. And what this will do is simply give all the capabilities of Chattr and label under Beaver, so that anyone who doesn't know what I did can't simply run Chattr. They would have to know Beaver, assuming they know that Chattr was written into Beaver. So now that Beaver is essentially Chattr here, we will then make both the Apache 2.config and the default config immutable, meaning no one should be able to open them, edit it, and then undo any of the damage we had done. So afterwards, I will then cover my tracks by simply clearing out the bash history file and then deleting this script altogether, just so no one can know what harm I have caused. So, I hope that's explanatory. I hope that's self-explanatory enough for you, because we are going to run this script. So, let me just copy this over to Putty. Bring us back to the home directory. So for this one, I made the title of the script.sh for this bash, just because the very end it will delete itself, so all of our bases are covered here. So that is the command, that is the script on the web server here. It's going to control 0 and then run bash script.sh. Okay, so we just ran it. Let's see what's here. So looking at this current directory, we don't have the current script. It's gone. Let's see if what happened to our bash history file. Completely empty. So then, etc. Apache. And let's see if we can make any changes. Oh, look at this right here. This file is unwritable. So let's see if we can actually make these changes. So I'm going to delete my test edit line here. Say operation not permitted. Strange. And click no to that. So let us look at, nope. Let's look at the default config file here. So same errors before. X file is unwritable. So I want to say test edit. Try to save it. It'll say error writing to this file, operation not permitted. So if someone were to stumble upon this and wonder what's going on, they wouldn't be able to undo it unless they knew it was Chattr. But if we were to run Chattr, it said command not found. Like it wouldn't work at all. So let's try Beaver. Okay, so now you'll see that Beaver is at least a command, but Chattr doesn't even show up. So I know that's a lot of technical stuff all in one here. So let's just go back to the website here. So here what it is normally, but if we were to refresh the page, you get this, you're now looking at the fake HTML file saying, oh no, you got hit by a chattering beaver. You are screwed. So that's the end of the demo here. Let me just pull this back up here. So we went over the exploit, how it works, etc. Now, most important thing is how do you protect yourself, in this case, from a chattering beaver? The first thing is to back up everything that you use in your IT department, whether it's a cloud or in your own company. Back up everything on a daily basis. Second thing is making sure your backups actually work if you ever have to use one of your backups. And then kind of narrowing down to the Linux operating system. One pointer I thought of at the time was limit what commands can be used on your Linux system, meaning like limit what commands certain users can use, don't make everyone a super admin, etc. I'm not going to go over X number of pointers, just things to keep in mind. And then, of course, for Chattr, if you use the -I option, you can remove the immutable flag, making your configuration files, in this case, writable. So that is that for my video here. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I wish you all a very good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.